Hey fantasy fans, it's Dan here with TreeBeard Book Reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing The Blood of Elves by Andrejz Sapkowski. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so say welcome and welcome back to those who are subscribed, and to the new people who are new to my channel. Just give you a brief rundown. I come up with a video every Tuesday and Saturday at 11 a.m. EST. And I'm also doing some quick book shorts where I'm showing you books that are on my shelf and some kind of cool editions that I have, just to, show you what I got kicking around. And so my channel is just about reviewing, fantasy book and sci-fi books. And today we're going to be talking about The Blood of Elves. So I obviously read this in anticipation for the new season of The Witcher coming out. This is going to be coming out probably right as the season drops, or on the Saturday, or maybe even that weekend. But yeah, I just picked this up. I was kind of in a bit of a, not a reading slump, but some of the books I've been reading in the month of December were a little little longer, a little bit more slower fantasy. So I wanted something a little bit faster to kind of pick me up a bit. So I threw this in. I read it in 2 or 3 days, just blew through it, and that's kind of what I needed to kick my butt back into gear. So I'm just going to talk about what I liked and what I didn't like about The Blood of Elves. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's just get into the good here. There's a few things I kind of want to preface before I talk about this book, The Blood of Elves. Should you read Last Wish? I think I have my copy here. Yeah, I have my copy of Last Wish. I haven't actually read The Last Wish. I only really know about it from the show, and I know the show, the first season talks about The Last Wish and Sword of Destiny. So I kind of went off based on what I knew from the show. I would probably recommend read The Last Wish first. I'm gonna go back and eventually read that and Sword of Destiny when I get it. So yeah, that's the first thing. And also the other thing, this is a translation, Andrejz Sapkowski. He's Polish, he's a Polish writer. And to say that this is a translation is unreal. It's really, really impressive. So that's going to be one of the first things that's good is, to say that this work is a work, a translation, is translated from, Polish to English. Holy cow, does it translate well? And did it still convey the story and still gave me so much enjoyment. I really, really enjoyed this book. Really enjoyed the character work, the character description, and the thing is, this is a really character-driven book. It's not, there's not a lot of plot here, guys. It's a really thin plot, but the plot that is there, it's really good. I really enjoyed, but it's really more focusing on character moments. So the big thing, the big character moments are, with Geralt and Ciri, Geralt and Triss, and then Ciri and Yennefer. And there's also some little other chapters in there that kind of split the book up a bit, with the wizards and some of the the kings and stuff like that. So, but the relationships that are built in this book are really well done. The relationship between Geralt and Ciri, really well done. The foundation, even though I said I haven't read Last Wish, but I know how Ciri and Geralt meet from just based on what happened in the show. After the fall of, what's their city called? I can't remember it now, but Calanthe was her mother or grandmother. So after her death, and then Geralt finds her, Sintra. I always remember after the fact. So Sintra. So yeah, just their relationship, and when Geralt brings her to Kaer Morhen. And, she's training her to be a witcher, and it's so good where you meet the other witchers like Vesemir and Lambert and Cohen. Really good. Really, really good. You see that love they have and that, that father-like care for Ciri. And this is kind of what this book is about. It's about for a Geralt and Yennefer having a father-daughter and mother-daughter relationship. Because, Geralt really kind of sees Ciri as his daughter, and Yennefer at one point in the books kind of slips up and calls Ciri daughter. So let's continue with Geralt and Ciri. So I really love their relationship, love their dynamic. She treats him like a father figure, he treats her like his daughter, but he's still hard on her. She's training her to be stronger, to to fight with a sword and like do all the Witcher things that like running like through Kaer Morhen and up and down this path, and it was really good. And then Trish shows up and pretty much like like wags her finger under these boys' nose, these Witchers, and like saying, "Don't you realize this is a young woman like who's gonna be having her period and all that stuff." And like the Witchers are so oblivious, like, "Oh no, I didn't know, like so sorry," and like just totally. It almost reminded me of like Three Men and a Baby kind of thing, like that old movie from like the '80s. But oh gosh, I'm dating myself. But yeah, it was really good. I just really love that. And then when Triss enters the dynamic and she's training Ciri and she starts taking like a part in Ciri's training, and you see her relationship with Ciri and Triss's relationship with Geralt. I really like Triss. She's probably one of my favorite characters in this book. And there is kind of a thing that happens with her, like you see that there's obviously like this love triangle that's kind of going on between like Geralt and Triss and Geralt and Yennefer. I'm probably Team Triss, to be honest. I know he's probably going to end up with Yennefer in the end, but whatever. I just like Triss. I thought she was really good. She was really interesting, really sweet, has a big heart. And she's not as cold as like Yennefer is. But yeah, it's really good. And then eventually, the story progresses where they want to give Ciri more training, so give her some book learning. So she goes to like a monastery, but on the way, they're taking her, and Triss falls ill. She gets like food poisoning or something. So it's not really explained because like she can't get dysentery because she's a wizard. And yeah, it's just a really fun romp. Like you just with these characters you really enjoy. I found the first half of the book was a lot stronger than the second half of the book. So when Geralt and Ciri and Triss and Ciri and Triss and Geralt are together, very strong. There is some there are some chapters with Dandelion. I was at first calling him Dandelion, but then I'm like, I asked people on my Discord, and like, no, like Jaskier in Poland means like a little yellow flower. So I'm like, okay, so his name is Dandelion. So thanks everyone on the Discord for that. But yeah, so first half was really good. Really enjoyed the bits with just that character building and those relationships that are founded with Ciri and Geralt. Again, there are some really good character moments with Yennefer. You get a little bit more. You got more Yennefer at the end. Kind of learn a bit more about her motivations and how she approaches Ciri, and how she approaches that training. So, again, really enjoyed it. So, let's get into the things I didn't care for in the Blood of Elves. Alright, so let's talk about some of the bad. This book was actually quite good for me, even though I did mention a few things in the good that like probably would appear in the negative, and they do. This is a very loosely there's like a vague plot here in this book, and it doesn't actually bring it down, to be honest, because I'm a character reader, as you guys know, and I just loved all the character work that was done. So the plot, it didn't bug me too much that there was a really thinly veiled plot, because the book starts one way, and then in the end it kind of veers off a little bit, and you're not really sure the direction of the book, the book's going, and it kind of just ends. And like there's no like closing action. It's just it ends with like Ciri being trained by Yennefer, and you see that relationship. So you can kind of see that this is just like that. All the Witcher books, they're all like one giant book. He just broke them into pieces. So I'm really looking forward to reading the next one. I think it's called Time of Contempt. But I'm gonna go back and read Last Wish and Sword of Destiny first before I do that. So I do plan to continue the series. Really enjoyed it actually, but some other negatives I just want to get in is like just characters kind of drop off the map at a certain point in the book. So really enjoyed Triss, like loved her relationship with Geralt and Ciri, and then she gets sick, so she's kind of out of it. And then after that, she just disappears. She's gone for the rest of the book. I was like, shit, I really enjoyed Triss. I really enjoyed her character. And then she's gone. And then there's like Geralt kind of like the thing is like Geralt kind of disappears a little bit, and he's dropped Ciri off at this monastery to be trained, like she's getting an education, and Geralt, it doesn't really the time jumps aren't explained, and it almost like spans a couple years, and it's not really kind of explained. That was the only thing is the time frame is really loose. and like how things are moving. So that was the only thing that wasn't super clear. Um, yeah, like other than that, like, and there's also like the theme of the blood of the elves. Like it's kind of brought up a lot, like where the you're told about the Scotail, which is like, I hope I'm saying that, Scoia'tail or something like that. That means squirrels, and they're like this band of like gorilla like elves and dwarves that are pretty much like in opposition to human rule, and they're just trying to fight the humans back and get their lands back, kind of thing. I thought they were good, but like there's a point that happens in like the middle of the book, and then it's not really kind of touched on. So I hope that gets explained a little bit more in the later books. Still, it's not a huge big deal for me. And then lastly, like the other thing is like there's some really odd kind of POVs that kind of jump in, that kind of pull you away from the story, or like just make it really disjointed in some parts. And that's like where you're with Geralt, and then it just jumps to like where you're with all these kings and queens, and they're talking about their plans to try and find Ciri. And it was just like this. It was a long part of the book. I think it was like 40 pages with them, and you're like, oh, come on, like I want to get to the interesting stuff. I don't want to hear and just like sit with these, rich folk. I want to see what Geralt is doing, and Ciri and stuff like that. And that happened a few times, like with the wizard. Like the wizards popped in, and you're just like, just get back to the action kind of thing, or get back to the characters I care about. And that's the thing with me, is I'm a character-driven reader. Like I just want to be with the characters I like, and I don't need these new characters being introduced. But the characters you are with, like, you just enjoy your time with them. So there are some bad heroes, like it's a very loose plot. Some characters drop off the map, and there's some chapters that are a little bit boring with some of the POVs, but like it was, in the end, it was a really good book. So let's just get to my rating and my overall review of The Blood of Elves. So I just want to say first, guys, I hope you're enjoying the second season of The Witcher. I'm going to be watching that with my wife. I know, like, I read this in anticipation for the series, so I hope this, you're reading, like, watching this after you started the show at least, and, let me know what you think to the show, and let me know what you think to this book, The Blood of Elves, and was my rating similar to where you rated it? So I rated this book a 4 on Goodreads, and I'm actually going to rate this thing a 4.4. It was actually pretty strong, to say that there's not a lot of plot and there is some negatives, but I just loved the characters. I loved Geralt, I loved Ciri, loved Yennefer, loved Triss. So like the 4 characters that you want to really care about and like, I liked, and he did a really good job. And just to say that this is a translation, breathtaking that it translated so well, and makes me wish I could read and write Polish just to read this in the language it was written. And super impressive book. Gonna continue with the Witcher series. I love the first season of the show with my boy Cavill, and looking forward to watching the second season here. So that's my review, guys, of The Blood of Elves. Hit me up in the Discord. And again, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.